Hi there. It's so nice to be with you once again. So this week your teachers have asked me if I would join them in a project that they would like to do, and that is to create a map of the Floodbrook grounds and nature trail. Now, I have always loved maps. I love the way the colors and the text interact on the page, but my favorite kind of maps are illustrated maps. And an illustrated map gives you an experience of the place by adding small details and pictures. So that's what we're going to be working on, making illustrated maps like these with added detail of the Floodbrook grounds that have now become our wonderful outdoor classroom. So stay tuned and I'll show you how we'll do this. So to make your illustrated map like this, you're going to need the following: a piece of paper or your sketchbook, a pencil, an eraser, a fine point black pen, and later on you'll be needing maybe some colored pencils and some watercolors. So how do you get started? The first thing you need to do really is to make a visit to the site or get a map to work from. So this is a map of the Floodbrook trails, and I decided that I wanted to make a map of this little section right here, a blow-up section. But it's helpful to have this to start. So if you have one of that, you can use a previously photographed map, or you can just make a site visit. If you're making a site visit, make sure you either have a stiff sketchbook or a board to work on. So what do you need to do to create an illustrated map? Okay, so first you need to include the special places on your map. What landmarks are there? What's important about that place? And with your pencil, you're going to make a rough layout based on the geographical area. When you bring it back, you make a pencil draft. Are you going to add details? What kinds of things are you going to add? You're going to do this in pencil. Don't forget to add labels. When it's all figured out, then you're going to go over your draft with a dark outline pen, and then, if you want, you're going to add color. So I made a trip out to my favorite section of the Floodbrook Woods, where I like to take kids for drawing. And this is not perfect, but it's a starting point. So I roughed in the pathways, the landmarks that I thought were important, and then I'm going to go over them. So the nature trail that I'm thinking of starts at the edge of the soccer field. We always stop here and pick some of the grasses and notice how nice they are, so I'm going to include that. There's a little sign here right at the beginning that says nature trail. The other thing I notice is a little apple tree, so I'm just going to put in a symbol of the apple tree. It's not a perfectly realistic apple tree, but my viewers of the map are going to, I'm going to make a key, and they will know whenever they see a symbol like this that it's an apple tree. As I walk into the woods, I realize I'm going past an old stone wall, so I will include that. There's a very large maple tree that catches our attention, kind of as the beginning of the trail, so I'll do that. There's another big maple tree over on this side, and that's an important landmark, so I will include that. As I walk along, I notice I get to an area where there are lots of flat stones, so I'm going to call that Stone Flats. And you can see how I'm progressing. In this map, the stream is very important. It's probably the main element, the locator in this map, so I'm going to make sure the stream is there. And once I get the stream in place, I'm going to start to add more detail. Of course, the bridge, that leads to other trails, which I will mark with dotted lines. And I'm going to use dotted lines for my trails. And people will know that because over here I'm going to make a key. And in that key, I am going to make my symbols. So for instance, this will be pine trees. My stream will be like this. And this is paths, the dotted line. So think about the things that are important in your particular section and give them names if you like to name them. I call this the sitting tree because we usually have one child who sits there with a sketchbook. This is the gathering area where I give kids directions of what we're going to do that day. Stay tuned and I'll sort of show you how this map develops. So you get the idea. You pick out the important landmarks, you give them names, you make a key, add color, and be willing to share it with your friends and the other kids at Floodbook. So have fun, take your time, do a great job, and when you're all done, don't forget to share it with me. I can't wait to see it.